Welcome back to ESA Winter 21. We are raising money for Alzheimer Fonden. Links to donate can be found below the stream. We would also like to thank Neo2 The Complete Edition, Twitch, and ViewSonic for sponsoring this event. Now it is time for XeroHR running Halo 3 ODST. Take it away.
Alright, so hello, my name is Zero. Here for commentary, I have Too Easy.
Hello?
Hark.
What's up?
And Sasquatch Sensei.
Like to be here, dude. Thank you.
Time will start once I press this button. So 3, 2, 1, go. So we start out here in the streets of Mombasa. Easy, you want to give them the little lore explanation?
Yes, so Halo 3 is unlike most Halo campaigns in that it's actually non-chronological. We wake up as the rookie, who has been in the part of a failed orbital insertion. He's been sleeping all day due to head injuries, and now he's separated from his squad, has to go around finding clues about what happened to each of his squad mates. And each time we find a clue, we'll actually flash back and find out what happened to them and what they're up to.
Right, so we start out here in this pod. It's about 44 seconds, and then I'm just holding E to get out faster. And now we're just going to be kind of headed to the first clear. What I'm going to be doing, I think Sasquatch, if you want to explain slide jumping really quick, because you'll see that right away.
Sure, you see he's kind of like gaining speed as he's jumping off these slopes. What he's doing is just crouching and jumping as he lands on any slope. Like the higher up he is, and the steeper the slope, the faster the boost that he gets. He'll be doing it all throughout.
Oh no. Where is he? Okay, I'm just gonna deal with him later. So I kind of have to be really careful about this clear. I have to kill everything like as fast as possible. Hasn't been going too great right now. The problem is luckily it didn't happen, but if I were to like leave enemies alive, they would run off into the 4 different corners of this map. There's a guy hiding behind there.
Nice catch.
And then I think, unless I got him, I'm not sure if the guy over there died. Oh, I guess, okay, so we're good. So once everything's dead, you're able to come over here, press this button, and you're able to move on to the next section. You'll also notice we're on Korean. We had a bid war, and that's what won, so shouldn't really affect too much in the run, but I mean, I've never played on a different language than English, so it's something different. Right here, we're just waiting for this door to open, and we're gonna head into the next area, but for now, there's not much going on other than movement, so I think you probably got time for a few donations.
Alright, awesome. I will then quickly mention that we are raising money for the Alzheimer Fonden. And in case you're not familiar with what they are the Swedish national fundraising organization focusing on Alzheimer's disease and other dementia-related diseases. They enable training for caregivers on the subject of dementia, and they also organize projects, camps, and events for youngsters affected in different ways due to parents or other relatives diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So in case you're wondering what your money is going toward, it's a very great cause right there.
So unfortunately there, I didn't have plasma nades. I only had spike nades, which if I had plasma nades, I would have been going for a little boost there. But that's prepare to drop. A lot of these first levels are really quick. This next level, Tayari Plaza, there's going to be a lot of tricks I'm going to go for, which Hark should explain.
Yeah, so at the start here, he's going to throw 3 grenades, and he's going to want them to land in the same spot, roughly. And even though he didn't get a great one there, it's possible to get a launch all the way across this entire section and save over 10 seconds. It's worth going for. Yeah, it's definitely worth going for, but it is a very difficult trick. All the grenades have to land in a pretty precise spot at a pretty precise time for all the nades.
If I had gotten a really good one, I could have landed like all the way over there. It can save, I think the best time we've gotten, like if you look in the top right, there's a split. So the best split ever, I believe, is 12 or 13, I want to say. I've had a 13 myself. Generally for full game, you want to aim for like a 23 or so. Okay, that's actually pretty good.
Nice coil launch.
So this is truck launch. There's a little container sitting on top of that truck bed, and what we tried to do there was just like throw a grenade to knock that container off and lay it on its head so that it propels him forward.
Again,
And
that wasn't exactly the best launch, but it still did save a few seconds to be sure.
yeah.
Ideally,
And-
there you get launched all the way to the door.
And now coming up, Zero's going to be going for something called a Hunter Car Boost. The Hunter can do a melee animation that is very powerful, and it can actually send cars like really far away. So he's going to use that so that he's going to try to manipulate this Hunter so that it sends the car into a spin, and it's going to try to launch him off of the car.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's just bad RNG. Like, you actually can't really predict. I'm sure there's probably some way to predict it, but no one really knows anyway, just because sometimes there's basically 3 animations they could do there. You need one of them, which is essentially he hits the car. There's another one where he hits the car, except you don't get launched that way, and then there's that one where he'll just like sit there, and that one doesn't really work. Now we're on to streets again. You probably got time for a few donations here.
Alright, I will then quickly mention that we do have an ongoing bid war for the run that is coming up after this one. For Dishonor to any percent, you can choose between Corvo or Emily to be ran in the speed run. And right now, Corvo's ahead, but Emily's not too far behind if you would rather see Emily take the win.
So, what I was supposed to do on the last streets, and what I normally end up doing just in the combat, so I guess I just got confused, is you're supposed to empty your SMG, so you'd end up with full nades. Because I don't have the full nades, I'm actually going to be missing out on a lot of launches here on this level. It's not, like, big, but it just, honestly, I mean, the level's going to be more walking, so if you got time for probably a minute or 2 of donations here.
I will say real quick that there are like a lot of really clever uses of the scenery and geometry that have been implemented in the recently, like in the past like year or two. It's really cool to see the run evolve. There's like a pressure launch here too that I don't know if they'll be going for, but there's a lot of new tricks.
Yeah.
A lot of new tricks.
There are so many really cool things you can do on these street sections that, like, they might not save that much time individually, but they all add up to a lot of time save over the course of a whole full game run.
Unfortunately, though, like I said, I don't have nades, so I'm not really... like I said, last streets I had the spike nades, which don't really help me there, and they're not really going to help me here, but there's I think I could probably hit the coil launch coming up with a spike nade, though, so I'll go for that. And I should get a checkpoint right before it. But yeah, you got time for a few donations.
Alright, I will then mention real quick that if you do donate at least $25 throughout the duration of the event, you will be entered into the prize pool of one computer monitor from ViewSonic. And same thing if you donate a minimum of $35 during the run of the course of the event, if there's a different monitor that you will be entered into the prize pool for. You can check out the prices on the ESA website.
Having a little trouble aiming there. But yeah, you have time for more, because it's like probably 40 seconds to the end of this level. There's not really much going on on this level.
I will then highlight the fact that we are raising money again for Alzheimer Fonden. So, and thanks to gifts and wills from private individuals and companies, Alzheimer Fonden was able to distribute almost 30 million Swedish crowns last year. Even still, the money is not enough to be able to support all important projects that lie ahead. The Alzheimer Fund could only grant about 19% of the funds applied for. So this really is a great cause that you are donating for here.
Alright, so now we're coming into Uplift Reserve, which is the premier driving level of Halo 3 ODST. Lots of really cool sequence breaks as well.
We start out here with some movement on the ground. I'm just going to be doing some things with nades. Hopefully I'm going to hit a nade-assisted slide jump right here. I didn't really get it. Still saved a little bit of time. But right now I'm just headed towards the SOG. And in just a second here, I'm going to throw a nade. It's going to land under it, and it flips it over, so I can just hop right in without having to actually flip it over myself.
And hopefully not get flipped by the brood shot.
Yeah, so coming up here is kind of a little bit of a scary section, in the sense that you just... things like to block you, like that ghost kind of just did, and things will flip you, and it might... okay, so what can happen right there is actually, a lot of the time, if you don't make it through in time, the Wraith will absolutely block you, and you get stuck for upwards of like 5 to 10 seconds, so luckily that didn't happen there. Now I'm going for cliff climb, easy.
Yeah, so you might remember a long drive in this mission, but we just skipped a lot of it right here by just driving over. And he made that look really easy, but it is super hard. And you need to raise the front of your ghost at the right time and keep enough speed to travel, you know, horizontally along the wall while also moving up. It's really easy to flip there, and if you fail it once, it's almost like you have to back up a lot to get the momentum you need. So really nice that he hit it first try. And he's going to continue driving up cliffs and stuff all throughout this mission instead of taking the intended route. It's really handy to have this ghost.
Yeah. You got time for more donations. I'm just gonna say really quick, like these first few levels, like I said, they move really quickly. So we're probably gonna be zooming through each of these levels are like 2 minutes long. So this one's coming up on the end, but I'm just gonna do a few more cliff climbs and then yeah, you have time for a few donations now.
Alright, we got $5 from Seclusive, saying, so glad Halo speedruns are getting shown at ESA. Watching with friends right now, we've always loved playing Firefight together back in the day. Best of luck on the run, Zero. Do you want me to keep going, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, then I will mention once again that we are raising money for Alzheimer Fund, and they do a bunch of great things. They will organize projects, camps, and events for youngsters affected in different ways due to parents or other relatives diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And the World Health Organization, the WHO, classifies dementia as one of the world's greatest health problems. Just over 47 million people are affected, and it is estimated that the number of dementia diseases in the world will have tripled up to 2050. So really, this is a fantastic cause to get your money in for.
Okay, so what I just did there was a debris launch. I think Hart can explain that in just a sec, but that one was actually really good. Unfortunately, I hit a lamppost, and that just stopped all of my momentum. But yeah, Hart, if you'd like to explain debris launches and whatnot, that'd probably be a good time.
So there are pieces of scenery objects that can be moved. You know, they're not like baked into the geometry. So what he did was he used 2 grenades to try to get that piece of debris to smack into him like as fast as possible to try to like propel him forward. It's possible for that specific launch to save about 9 or 10 seconds. Even there with the one that Zero got, it still probably saved, you know, like 2 or 3 seconds.
And it looked like, I mean, honestly, I think if I didn't hit that lamppost, it looked like it was going straight to the door. Like, it probably would have been actually a really nice launch, but...
Yeah,
a lot of the things with launches in this game, including Tayari, which was the hog launch I did earlier, is you'll just kind of run into objects when you do these launches, which you really can't control it. I mean, I think Hark says there's, like, some infinite number, or practically it's an infinite number of like possible combinations of the launches, so no matter how precise you are, you'll basically never get the same launch twice.
Yeah, I mean, even so, like, some of these launches are at least decently consistent to save a decent amount of time, so it's definitely worth going for.
And coming up here, I'm going to be going for a trick called Genre Slide. Shout out to Zombie for creating the trick and the name. It's actually based on his name, which I'm not going to leak, but it's called Genre Slide for a reason. I'll just say that.
Got an IC as well.
Right now, I'm just kind of jumping onto this barrier up here, and I'm going to be going for the mongoose. Until then, you got time for a few donations.
Alright, we got $25 from NicoHeart187 saying, here is a donation, smiley face. Put this towards Corvo for the Dishonored 2 bid. And once again, we do have an upcoming bid war for the next one coming after this, and Corvo is now quite a bit ahead of Emily, but once again, we still have about another hour left of this, so you can get Emily ahead if that's what you want to see later on.
Alright, so if you played ODST in the past, you've probably known that there's audio logs scattered throughout the game. There's a total of 30, I believe. There is a 29.
Yes, 30.
So if you collect 8 of them, you're able to unlock these supply caches which have mongooses in, and luckily in the route we use, you're actually able to grab a mongoose pretty much right before this level, and we're gonna be using, oh my gosh, we're gonna be using this mongoose on the rest of the streets levels from here on out. I think Park might want to explain how we're doing this out of order here.
Yeah, so normally you're supposed to go to Kazingo Boulevard first, but because like the Kazingo's like closer, so like in the short term you would save time, but in the long term you would actually lose quite a bit of time due to the extra walking you would have to do instead of using the mongoose. The mongoose is just so much faster than walking that it's faster to lose time in the short term, so you can get that mongoose as quick as possible.
And this is Oni Alpha Site. It's the first level in the game that's actually kind of entirely revolves around combat. You'll see here in a sec. It's also one of the longer levels, I'd say. At the start there, I tried going for a tire launch, which is like a debris launch. Unfortunately, my nade went off a little late. But right now, I'm just trying to make back those nades, and I'm going to head into the next area. I think... So basically, the way this wave fight works is there are a total outside, there's a total of 3 waves. You only fight 2 of them. This first wave we want to kill as fast as possible while moving towards the trigger. The second wave we're going to want to kill a certain amount of enemies, and then the third wave we're just going to kind of skip. Oh, and actually that was a little scuffed because there's a dialogue, or there's an audio cue from the dialogue that I normally use there, which I don't know Korean, so I couldn't time it properly, but the idea was to hit a collab there, and unfortunately I just couldn't because I didn't have the timing right. But right now I'm just going to be clearing these last enemies up and heading up towards this trigger, and hopefully once everything is dead, there's another grunt. Is he dead? Okay. So once everything is dead, the second wave is going to come in, and now like I said, this one there's a certain amount of enemies we have to kill. I'm not sure the number exactly. Maybe Hark knows.
Yeah, there can only be 10 enemies left alive, like 10 or less enemies left alive from these from these waves. And I believe that there is a total of I think somewhere around 20 or 25 enemies that drop off.
25 sounds about right. So I'm kind of going, I have a way that I do this clear specifically. I clear everything on this side first, and what I'm going to do now is just kind of try and snipe some of the runs. Unfortunately, he threw a bubble shield. Looks like a few of them are running up here though, so hopefully, I think I need to kill like maybe one more. Should be good now. So I'm assuming, based on my limited Korean knowledge, that that's the More Phantoms dialogue, which means we're able to advance to the next area.
Yeah, he sounded pretty alarmed. That
Yeah.
should be it.
So right now I'm just gonna grab this frag, and we're pretty much on a timer now for this door. This is where the third wave is supposedly supposed to come in, but like I said, we're just gonna skip it all. And now this door should open in just a second, hopefully.
Important trick coming up here, where we basically teleport Mickey inside and basically force some dialogue to happen, which begins the wave fight inside here. So yeah, by throwing that grenade, he got the dialogue. We were just waiting for it because it's a different line than we're used to, obviously.
Yeah, the line that we wait for in English is, man, check those charges. We really can't tell what he says at the start of it. Supposedly he says, hurry up, men, but it just sounds like... You really can't tell
it sounds like he says, all right, men, but the script says he says, hurry up, men, so we're not really sure there. This wave fight is pretty straightforward. It's not really on a timer. I just need to kill the waves as possible, so maybe Easy would like to explain what's going on here.
Yeah, so at the start you could see him using his visor mode to scope out which side they're going to spawn on, because they can alternate. And once you finish one wave, there'll be 2 more grunts, and that's why he's throwing that last grenade before turning around the corner, trying to get to this next wave because there's a little bit of overlap between waves. And he's also conveniently placed these machine gun turrets for himself. These come in so handy in this wave fight because they have very high ammo capacity, and once you get the barrels spinning, they got really high damage output as well. He's going to throw the grenade again to kill these last couple enemies and come around to use his rockets on these brutes. And different weapons are used in different situations in this game. For example, he's using his SMG on enemies that don't have shields, like the grunts and jackals, because it tears them up, but it doesn't fare as well against shields, so he's saving his rockets and grenades for the brutes, which have an energy shield. And he gets a really nice stick there. And he's going to use his last rockets on this last wave. Really nice clear, honestly. Still
yeah, I've been
got
having
some
issues
SMG
with
ammo.
like reloading and whatnot, but we're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So having the little bit of SMG ammo, the perfect amount actually, just to kill those last few jackals, is really helpful. And it just rewards good ammo management, because sometimes you got no resources left to kill those things, and they can be hard, especially with their shield. But this next fight, it's not as stressful as the first one. You're on a timer, you just have to make sure everything's dead, and we usually on easy, like it's possible to beat the timer on legendary, sorry. So on easy, you just need to focus on not getting punched off the edge, and you're good.
Shout out to iBigBlue for revolutionizing that strat earlier in a race, where you get punched off the edge.
Yeah, instead he can punch. Zero's punching brutes off the edge, so.
Yeah,
Absolutely
let's see if
styling
any
on
of the
them.
brutes. Looks like one
Yep.
fell into the broken brutes. He just.
They also just decide, you know, this is too much. I'm heading out.
Yep, and fall into death barrier. So
Yeah.
Hart calls it the Boulevard of Broken Brutes. For I think it's a pretty apt name since I mean it's just he's gone. So
Yeah.
Actually, a mechanic we should explain is backsmacking. So in Halo 3 ODST, your melee damage is a little bit reduced from Halo 3. That usually means that things take one additional melee to kill compared to how many melees they took to kill in Halo 3. A good way to get around this, because we want to kill things fast, right, with speedrunning, is to kind of bait their melee animation and then circle back around them and backsmack them, which is an instant kill.
and right now this is just gonna be an elevator, the classic good old auto scroller. So probably got time for a few donations here. Probably about 30 seconds.
Alright, awesome, because we got $100 from Poetics saying $20,000 hype. A huge thank you to all of the staff and behind the scenes crew who helped make the runners look so good. And then we also got $35 from Commander Nothing saying let's kick Alzheimer's butt swiftly. And with that we are about 19,000 total race, which is absolutely amazing. Keep it coming.
CC0 just trying to get some cool kill medal streaks on these drones, but otherwise
Yeah.
you don't need to kill them.
Yeah. They can actually delay a checkpoint, so I want to be careful. I actually just experienced that for the very first time last night, where I want to get a checkpoint here, because it would be embarrassing if it happened, but there is something I could fail up here. Hopefully, let's just not talk about it, and it won't happen.
You want to explain this final section, Huck?
Yeah, so he needs to kill all these enemies that drop off from the Phantom and at least one or two brutes. And once the enemies are dead, a Pelican will come in, and then Zero will be trying to do a grenade jump to get to the Pelican as fast as possible, because otherwise it can take about like 20 seconds for the Pelican to land all the way.
Nice.
So we don't want to
There we
wait
go.
for that.
So he combined a grenade, a frag boost, and a brute shot, which is a grenade launcher, to get a double boost up towards that Pelican, and it was well timed as well. Because if you go too early or too late, you'll actually miss the hitbox for getting in the Pelican. So yeah, nice time save there.
Yeah, and you could make that just with a frag, but it's a little safer to go with the brute shot. And I think it actually saves like a little bit of time. You can't make it just with a brute shot though, so that's why you gotta kind of be worried about the time there.
So this is the fourth Streets mission, and this is actually one of the cooler ones because it has a lot of really cool driving. This is actually like one of the, I think, in my opinion, like the most technical Streets mission for driving, because there's all these curves that he has to do without hitting anything. And then coming up ahead, we have like a little trick called Tony Hawk, where like we get up on this railing here, and we want to try to stay straight as we go off.
Come on,
To
wait.
try not to flip
I landed
over.
it. Okay. At least I landed it.
Alright,
Yeah,
so
you usually go up on the rail and do a kick flip off. It's really cool.
Yeah.
yeah, so he landed upright, which is very good. He flipped a little bit, but it's still not bad.
Still
And now here he's going to be doing a double grenade jump to skip walking up a very long staircase to just like finish this level.
Oh no!
Oh
my
Unlucky.
gosh.
Oh wait, your goose.
yeah, your goose is
Oh,
going.
that's...
Yes,
I'm
that
reverting.
is-
Revert,
I'm
yeah.
reverting. Yeah.
We'll get to see
Wow.
Tony Hawk again, so that's a big positive. I'm super stoked. Let's go.
So
Yeah,
if your
so-
mongoose gets destroyed, it obviously it won't carry over to the next streets. So
And it is worth the revert because the mongoose from like it saves 4 minutes just from here on out. So like it's probably a minute time loss from the revert, but it's
It's
better than
worth
losing
going
4
for
minutes.
the cool trick.
Yeah, that too. Good call because I didn't actually see that it was destroyed, and I was about to just go by and I was gonna be, hey, wait, where's the
Yeah.
mongoose?
As much as I love stairs, like I love mongoose driving even more. So
yes,
Good Tony
and
Hawk.
that's
this
a
time.
really
yeah, let's go.
Well, I ran
that's
into
that's
the thing,
just
but
about the best Tony Hawk that you can get. It's very difficult.
it was worth
to
it.
get
It was
that
definitely worth the
line.
revert. And
Alright.
let's hopefully not choke it this time. Okay.
Just waiting
good.
for health.
What?
Yeah,
Okay,
and-
well,
Oh no, and the goose is broken again, man.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wait,
I'm
are we
just...
watching the same? Did you just play back the same?
Yeah. That was, I actually got it. You guys just don't see it right now. So, don't worry. I'm just waiting a minute for the, Twitch to catch up.
That
If you
is
want
such
to,
a fast
very
start. Like,
unfortunate.
I'm just gonna walk up, but if you want to go through a few donations, yeah, you have about a minute.
Alright, I will then mention again about the upcoming bid war for Dishonored 2, which is coming after this, because after the donation we just got, it's changing the game here. Corvo is pulling ahead, $85 against Emily's $50, so if you don't want to see Corvo being run, then you need to get your money in for Emily, because otherwise she's going to keep falling behind here, and that's not okay.
Yeah, time for some more.
Alright, then I will also quickly mention what the money is going towards, because if you do choose to donate to this very wonderful cause, you will probably want to know the fact that Alzheimer's is no current cure, but treatments for the symptoms are available and research continues. Although current treatments cannot stop Alzheimer's from progressing, they can temporarily slow the worsening of dementia symptoms and improve quality of life for those with Alzheimer's and their caregivers.
Alright,
we're coming
so,
up to a very important mission, which is also I'll let you take it away, Zero.
Yeah, that was first try, by the way. Very well done, if I do say so myself. So, starting off here, I'm going to be going for some called Rocket Car Boost. Hopefully I'll get it. Looks good. Okay, so that saves about 2 seconds. Hark, if you want to explain that, because I'm going to be focusing during the driving.
Yeah.
And I'll explain the Banshee.
So, just like Hunter Car Boost, the idea is to get an explosive to make the car like fling like towards the player and like propel him forward.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Okay.
And right there, what Zero was trying to do was he was trying to kill the brute with the rocket so that he could instantly get inside it to drive it. But unfortunately, Zero misplaced his rocket in just the wrong way so that the ghost flipped over.
I think it was actually a
And-
timing thing, because generally there, if you shoot it just barely too early, like right as it drops, it'll just flip like that, and it kind of screwed me up, but
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
So
Hopefully I'm getting a
you'll
checkpoint
notice that Zero
Oh, no.
picked up the beam rifle, and this is actually very important. So on this mission, there are Banshees, which are flying vehicles, that normally you're actually not supposed to be able to fly them on this mission. However, if Zero can shoot the
Nice,
brute
first try.
in just the right way, he can get it. The reason why he has to shoot the brute out is because once the game detects that a brute is no longer driving it, the Banshee is scripted to blow up. However, if he holds the button to get into the Banshee, and like if he basically like gets in at the same frame that the brute is killed, it allows him to get in before the script to destroy the Banshee is executed.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
if he
it's
were to
very,
hop out
very
of his
useful.
Banshee, it would instantly explode.
That was
now.
like really scary for me too, because I didn't have a checkpoint, but you know, I'm just good at this level, I think,
You got
so
this, man.
easy.
Clutch.
So by doing this Banshee trick,
Little
it saves
flex.
about 3 minutes, roughly, of having to kill like enemies in the previous section to make the door open, and plus there would be even more enemies. So he skips a lot by having this Banshee. So it's very useful.
Yeah, and
You saw him
this
flying
end fight,
over top. Oh, sorry.
yeah, this end fight here is pretty much just kind of like same as the Oni one, where it's just kind of on a timer. Like, as long as you kill everything, you're fine. There's one more Phantom, and then we will be ending the level. But sorry, continue easy.
I was gonna say you also need the Banshee to get into this next area quickly, because there's a elastic barrier, and if you get enough speed, you can actually get through elastic barriers, and that will come in important later. But yeah, big sequence break.
This I've noticed can be like a huge run killer for a lot of people, but thankfully Zero is insane at this level, so he gets through at lightning speed. Let's go.
Yeah. Did someone explain fast Banshee as well there? I didn't hear.
So whenever you come into that area, there's a brute on a Ghost turret and a couple of ghosts. The game waits for that Ghost turret guy to like stop talking, and then for the ghost to progress a certain amount into their driving path. However, if you decide to kill them both, then it skips all of that, and it makes the Banshee spawn in instantly, which saves about 10 seconds.
And a 3:23 Kazingo is really nice for full game, especially for a marathon. So
It's alright.
Nice.
It's alright. It's alright. This is MS4. Not much going on, just gonna be driving, doing a nade slide there at the start. Luckily I don't have to go up this time, so we won't have to see that again. But
Yeah,
right
the
now I'm
descent
driving.
was very clean.
I'm driving to NMPD, or rather I'm hitting barriers on the way to NMPD. And that's Hark's level, so I think if he wants to give a little preliminary explanation, because there is a lot going on that level, so...
So NMPD is definitely one of the cooler levels. It has a lot of really cool combat where you have to kill a lot of Banshees. Also, Zero just got a Ghost here, which is a lot faster than the Mongoose, and it's going to save him probably around like 15 seconds for the rest of his time on the streets.
Yeah. And it's just RNG, so...
So yeah, here on MMPD, the first 2 minutes of the level are just movement, and then the last 3 minutes of the level is very combat heavy, and it's one of the most unique combat experiences in the Halo series. So for a lot of people, this level is definitely one of the cooler ones to speedrun.
Nice cone launch.
Yeah.
So similar to debris launch, he gets a grenade behind the cone, and the grenade launches the cone into him, which propels him forward. There's like another cone launch and a fusion coil launch coming up here in just a little bit. So right here.
Until then, until then you probably have time for a few donations.
Yeah.
Alright, I feel like I've talked a lot about the Dishonored 2 Bid War, so I'm gonna mention something else because we do have a lot of other upcoming runs as well. This one is later on in the marathon, but we have Judgment Any Percent coming up later. We can pick which language to be in the voice during the run, so you can pick either Japanese or English. Right now, English is ahead by only $15, so if maybe you want to see Japanese instead, you can get your donations in for that, or you can solidify English's lead with more donations.
And okay, so that's pretty much the end of the actual movement. There's one more cone launch I'll be going, but yeah, I'm just gonna say Hark, take it away, because he's the most knowledgeable on this level by far.
So right here, he's going to be going for one more cone launch. This is one of the coolest cone launches if you get it right, because you can get one that's super powerful, and the view you get is really nice. It's a really cool view if you get a good one. So here,
that one isn't that powerful.
So here, Zero needs to kill all the enemies down here. He can leave up to 1 or 2 alive, depending on the enemy type. And it looks like his allies are doing really good at cleaning up. So it looks like,
wow.
Yeah. So he gets it instantaneously. So now here we're at the Banshee Fight. And there are 3 waves that can spawn randomly. One can spawn on the right side, one can spawn in the middle, and one can spawn on the left. So right here at the start, Zero got the right spawn. And
Surprised
for
I was
right
out of
spawn,
range.
Zero needs to try to kill at least 4 or 5 Banshees before he kills this Phantom. And it's worth it to let the Phantom fly away if you don't think you're gonna get enough dead in time.
Yeah, I did get 4, but it's too late to actually rocket the thing now, so
Yeah.
just gonna get set up for the next wave here.
So the next wave is actually what we call an auto-scroller wave. Pair's gonna come in from the left and in the middle, and it always comes in after the first wave. It's not random at all. So here what he wants to do is he wants to kill both these Phantoms. So we found a rocket lineup so that we can get this one as well as the next one, which is saves about, I want to say 15 seconds in total. So yeah, he's gonna kill this Phantom, and now he needs to clean up the enemies that drop off. And again,
Nice.
just like for the beginning, only one enemy can be alive before the next wave spawns.
Pretty
So
much
now he
instant though,
gets-
so.
Yeah, so now he gets left spawn, which is actually one of the faster waves because it has like one of the
Oh my
least
gosh,
amounts
please
of Banshee spawns.
I don't like what Buck's doing. So, one thing I have to be careful of is my AI allies, because they like to do some interesting things which will very quickly kill you. So I'm gonna be kind of... What is he doing?
Oh my god, dude, what?
Okay.
So if you're if any AI comes up too close to the missile pod and you shoot at just the wrong time, your missile pod will actually impact them and instantly kill you, since the missile pod does so much damage.
Yeah, and you'll also notice here that the missile pod is extremely accurate and very, the tracking is just probably the best tracking you've ever seen.
It just works.
Hands down. Yeah, it works. Exactly.
So now
And-
here he's on the final random wave. So we get Center last, which usually isn't that great because Center has the most amount of Banshees that you need to kill. So right here he needs to try his hardest to get another Spartan laser, and he needs to take out as many Banshees as he can.
Yeah, I kind of didn't know which one was Dutch there. Dutch is the one who actually spawns carrying a Spartan laser, so I had to kind of look to see which one is which, just because, like I said, I don't exactly read Korean, unfortunately.
This
That was
has like
scary,
one of my
'cause-
favorite soundtracks in all of the franchise, by the way.
yeah, it's really good.
But yeah, this is definitely one of the coolest soundtracks. It's very rock. It's very, very good.
ODST as a whole has the most interesting music for any Halo or almost any video game, I reckon. It's so cool, especially the street sections, like the jazz, and then you got like the more rock stuff like this. It's just such a good soundtrack.
And I had to be careful there because if I had killed that last Phantom too early, I would have actually soft locked and had to revert. So I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, that's
NMPD,
an NMPD. It's a very very fast paced, intense level. You definitely, in order to go fast on it, you definitely have to know like what you're doing.
And like we said, now we have the Ghost. That actually does save quite a bit of time on the streets compared to taking the Mongoose. The next level is Kikawani, which is, I wouldn't say the most technical, but it's one of the levels that has really come out with a lot of tricks lately, which I believe Hark would be best at explaining.
Yeah.
But
So
you got time for a few donations until then.
yeah.
Alright, that is perfect because we got $500 from Head Dragon. ODST is best, rest of donation amount goes to Reader's Choice. This one goes 250 of these dollars go towards Neo any % category change for all main missions. And then it also puts $60 towards 911 Fire Rescue all missions bonus game. So for Baby Shark VR dancing, I guess we'll be seeing that later on. I'm not sure what my choice is, but don't worry, I will take a moment to figure that out and make sure that money goes to good use. Thank you so much.
I can't aim. I'm trying to shoot the Brute's feet, which is it's harder than it looks because you actually can't really just shoot the feet. There's like a specific part on the feet that you have to hit, and I was trying to get it a little early, but it's not a big deal. Now I'm coming around here for a checkpoint.
Nice,
I
got
hope
it.
that's a
So
checkpoint.
right here, as some people might know, there's elastic barriers that keep you within the map bounds, and it's very hard to break them. However, what Zero's gonna do is he's gonna use the Phantom to push him out of the barrier, and then he's gonna get back in the Banshee, and now he's out of bounds, which saves a lot of time because usually you're stuck in that first area for over a minute and a half before the game like decides to let you move on. So now here, he came around and he needed to hit a trigger volume that allows the mission to basically like continue. And again here's another mandatory trigger volume that he needs to hit to make sure that the level doesn't soft lock. And now that he gets back in his Banshee, he's gonna maybe be going for another out of bounds using another Phantom.
And
It's
this
actually
one's
one of the harder
drastically
ones.
different. Yeah.
So this Phantom moves a lot faster out of bounds than the first one. So what he needs to do is he needs to match his speed with the Phantoms, and if he doesn't match it like exactly, then the trick won't work and it will get pushed back in bounds. So it's very important that he matches his speed exactly with the Phantom so that it can correctly push him out of bounds.
And the
it
good
can
thing
be a
with this
very
one
difficult
is-
trick,
There we go.
and
we
he
got
gets it right there.
If you like those 3 reverts, like it really isn't a big deal because it's probably each of them is like 5 seconds. So we're still actually like this is still a pretty good Kiko even with those 3 reverts, and we're
Yeah.
coming up on the end here. There's just 2 more triggers I have to hit. One of them right here, we got it. Then there's another one over here which is gonna spawn everything except for the scarab. Normally there's a scarab in this area if you remember playing the game casually, but I believe it's a different trigger that spawns it, but luckily you don't need that one. Now I'm just coming in here. Ow.
Yeah,
I'm
even though
just
it's
gonna
not
be-
that big of a deal on easy if it spawns or not, it's actually a pretty big deal on legendary because that scarab can very easily kill you on legendary. So it's a very good trick, and right there, you probably just saved probably about 50 seconds over like a average run with the old route where you just stayed inbounds the entire time.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're able to just like beam rifle those squid hives at the end. It's the fastest way of ending it. So
Yeah.
this is really short streets, especially with the ghost. Let's see if I can get 15. No. But now we're into Data Hive. Pretty cool level. I think Easy is probably best at explaining this one.
So yeah, this is the second to last level, which you might think means we're close to the end, but we're actually only halfway through the speedrun because Data Hive and the level after it are 2 of the longest missions. This level is basically, for the first half, it's mostly movement, so he's going to be using slide jumps and grenade jumps and cone launches, kind of all the mechanics we've seen throughout the run so far. And they all add up to saving a lot of time over walking.
And coming up here, there will be 1 cone launch pretty soon, but until then, you got time for a few donations.
Alright, then I will quickly again mention what the money is going towards, because once again, Alzheimer Fonden is such a wonderful cause. And the goal of Alzheimer Fonden is to be an important research financer in this work. In the absence of effective medicines, it is important to research the best preventative measures for Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's is also the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, which is absolutely awful. On average, a person with Alzheimer's lives 4 to 8 years after diagnosis, but can live as long as 20 years depending on other factors. So once again, this is a fantastic cause that all your money goes towards, so please do consider donating if you can't afford to do so.
Please do, because I actually... Well, I don't want to get too off topic, but my grandma actually suffers from Alzheimer's, so it is really a good cause. And you got time for a few more.
That was such a
Alright.
sick cone launch, by the way.
Yeah, super nice.
Okay, I'll keep going about what you're going for here, because the goal of the Council's work is to get maximum dividends on the research money for affected patients and their relatives as well. And we also encourage collaboration between researchers at different
아래층으로 가서
universities.
동료들을 찾으려고 했는데 문이 잠겨 꼼짝할 수가 없었어요.
Alright, so right here,
With yeah, you take it.
we're just waiting for this button here. I don't know the dialogue on Korean, but I've heard that story before.
건너다. 조심해.
Now we're into the, actually I think, Easy, you could probably explain the allegory.
Right, yeah, so turns out this whole game is a one big allegory to the Divine Comedy, specifically the first book, Dante's Inferno. The allegory being that the rookie has woken up in Hell on Earth, the ruins of Mombasa, and we see even more allegory to that in this level where he goes through 9 sub-levels. Sorry, 9 sub-levels to arrive at the 9th sub-level, which is an allegory to the 9 circles of hell that Dante travels through in the Divine Comedy. So we've actually found a friend who will betray us, which is another allegory to the same poem by Virgil. And turns out we're actually going to find someone called Virgil, so quite on the nose reference there by Bungie.
We're also just leaving our friend behind because he's slow, so...
Yeah, true, but we will want to teleport him
He can
forward.
teleport, yes.
Yeah.
He has the, apparently humans in Halo have the ability to teleport, so...
And that will become very important in this level and also in later levels as well. So
Yeah, unfortunately the player can't teleport though, that would be really cool.
wouldn't that be nice?
I think I have a Berserker.
Oh yeah, if he's following you, that's
Oh, I
no,
guess
not
not.
good. He did get smacked by that dude though.
Something funny is happening over here.
Oh.
So I did have a
Yeah.
Berserker, I think.
Oh right, the Berserker had trapped our friend in a corner and was preventing him
Okay.
from teleporting. That's unlucky, man.
I knew I heard something. But yeah, now we're just again waiting for some dialogue. I wonder if, you know, we haven't actually found if any of the dialogue, at least I don't know if any of the dialogue might maybe be faster, who knows. But now we're on to sub-level
Probably not on
9.
MCC.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
MCC, even though you can change the voice lines, like the game is still like basically running as if it's in English, which means that wouldn't be any time saved from different dialogue.
And this is sub-level 9, which is frozen. And there's this is a very harrowing section on Legendary, by the way. But on Easy, we just walk right through, and there's actually an awesome cone launch coming up, so hopefully he can hit it as well as he hit the first one.
Oh, I hit it.
Not it.
Yeah,
Well, not
still
a great
got
one,
launched.
but
Yeah.
but it's still a good launch.
And he's
Insane
stocked up
how
on
much
grenades.
Power you can get from a little cone.
Yeah. This is the first combat part of the level. He wants to kill the enemies in this room as quickly as possible, so he's going to launch these grenades. He's going to use a flame grenade he picked up earlier
what is
to
he
kill
doing?
this brute, who actually got launched into him and caught Zero on fire, but we'll be okay. And now he's using his SMG against these drones, which go down really quickly
Oh my gosh.
because they have no shields and very low health. And there's one in the corner, otherwise that would have
Yeah.
been a decent clear.
This
Unfortunately.
is kind of one of the most, like, just hated sections of the game, just because the drones like to, like, hide in corners, and
Yeah.
you look one place and they're not there, and then they're there, like, the next time you look, and you just lose time, but that was alright. I'm just throwing that spike nade at the wall just because Dare, who's our new friend, is scared of them, and it gets her out of our way, so...
Yeah, so we've rescued one of our squad mates, and now we're going to travel through with her through the rest of this mission to rescue Virgil. And there's just more movement here, although there is a very important trick coming up, which is a huge sequence break. It's referred to as D-launch. We're going to use a barricade, which if you shoot them enough times, they will explode, and we're going to use that explosion combined with the explosion of our own grenade and a brute shot to get one of the highest launches in a Halo game, and launch all the way to the top of this next outdoor section that's coming up soon.
Then I'd say you got time for a donation or two.
Alright, I'm just going to then quickly mention that you can be entered to win a couple of prizes if you do choose to donate. With a minimum donation of $25 throughout the event, you will be entered to win a ViewSonic Elite XG270. And if you donate a minimum of $35, there's a different ViewSonic monitor that you will be entered to win. You can see both of them and read more about what the differences are at prizes.esamarathon.com. And I do also really quickly want to mention that we are getting really close to the $20,000 milestone for total race, so if you guys want to push for that before the end of the run, that would be really awesome to see.
Alright, so this is gonna be D route or D launch, or there's a few different names for it. Basically, I'm shooting 6 brute shot at the barricade to get it just before it's like quote unquote death. I'm grabbing a checkpoint there just for safe. That's awkward.
That's why we get the checkpoint.
Yep. I don't know if that's gonna work. No. Okay. My nade is doing weird things here. There we go. So you launch all the way up here, and basically skip like 30 to 35 seconds of just
you have to walk
content
from one end of this big hallway to the other, take an elevator up, wait for deer, and then walk back. But instead we just take a straight line to the end, basically.
And there is an old launch that was used. It didn't save as much time, and it was harder. So this one's really good. But especially another thing, while it doesn't come into play as much on easy, on legendary, you'll notice there were no enemies here at all. Normally there would be a bunch of drones, and that really helps out on ledge. So, I mean, it's one of those tricks that might look pretty difficult, but honestly, you can pick it up really quickly. It's a pretty easy trick.
Really fun as well. This section, we're gonna rescue Virgil, like we mentioned earlier. We're gonna kill these enemies and grab the gravity hammer, which is quite a useful speed tool. Unfortunately, we don't see it much in this game. But we're gonna use it to launch Dare in a place where the game thinks that she's stuck, and then the door will just open. The game's waiting for her to get to the door. And
Didn't work.
unfortunately, it looks like it didn't work, so now... Oh, second try.
No, I'm just gonna...
So now we just have to wait for her to walk to the door.
She really wanted to climb up on a box, you know?
Yeah, that was weird.
I think she's like scripted to do that or something, because that happens every time. I don't know why, but she just always climbs into that box for some reason. But we go rescue Virgil, who's the flying tentacle alien thing, and then we're just on our way back out. There is a combat section here, which we want to clear kind of quickly, hopefully. Hopefully I can get these brutes.
Nice collect.
Yep. And I want to get my brute shot back that I dropped. Oh, it's over here. So I'm just going to use these both to kind of help with this clear. And hopefully I'm going to get, there's the plasmas I need.
Nice.
And I'm going to come over here to hopefully, I just pretty much need to kill everything in this area. It's not like super, it is kind of on a timer, so it doesn't matter if I'm like not killing everything right away, but it's just good practice. And this bubble shield is kind of in the way, so.
That's probably like the worst thing that they could do on easy, right? Is just toss bubbles everywhere.
Yeah. It
happened
all
a
the time.
lot in this run as well. It's
Yeah, especially on Oni. I got bubbled on first wave. Right now, this is just kind of like coming down here. I want to kill these. You don't actually have to kill those drones, but it makes Buck actually move a little bit faster. So just coming over here to hit a trigger really quick, and I'll be walking back over and pushing Virgil.
Yeah, we're waiting for our allies to all get into position so that their dialogue can start. And we want to kill those drones to make sure they're not staring at them or even waking them up and fighting them. You will also notice Zero moving some stuff out of the way, and now he's going to ride Virgil, which is, you can kind of like jump on top of him and move him forward faster. He's not able to get on that time, but the melee helps as well.
And this is like a 40-second auto-scroller timer thing, so you got time for that many donations.
Alright, well we did get $5 here from Jay Staten saying, ODST is one of my favorite Halo games. Really looking forward to when someone actually manages to beat this thing in under 1 hour. This donation goes to the bid war for the game coming up after this, which is Dishonored to any percent. This is going towards Corvo, which means Corvo has even more of a lead. So again, do you want to donate to get Corvo even more of a lead, or do you want to donate to give Emily a chance? It's up to you, it's in your hands.
Yeah, really quickly with Jay Staten, Hark here is actually the current world record holder with a 58:36. So we have actually beat the game under 1 hour. To this point, which is it's the only it's actually the only game on Halo runs to be sub 1 hour, at least solo. We have a lot of co-op games, but yeah, very well done by Hark. That was actually done like not too long ago as well.
Yeah,
and it was
less than a month.
Large in part due to new strats on this level, Coastal Highway, which used to be about a 17-minute level,
물러서 계십시오.
and now the world record is 14:37 by Hawk, I believe.
1337.
1337. Yeah.
13:37. So
Another
that
great number.
is a
Elite.
large drop, and we're gonna see the trick that helped that happen come up here. A lot of people put a lot of work into it, including Zero, Hawk, and others as well. So Hawk has got, Zero has got 3 plasma grenades. Hawk, you want to explain how important those plasma grenades are to have?
Yes, so in total, we're going to be using 5 plasma grenades, and I think like all 3 of our frags. So it's going to be very important that we have as much grenades as possible before we get to the highway. So what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be very similar to Kiko 1. We're actually be breaking the barrier, the elastic barriers that keep you within the map. But
See, that's what I'm
unfortunately, a flag gets applied to where like the vehicle that you broke the barrier with actually can much more easily get sucked back into the barrier if it detects that a player gets in it. However, we're going to be launching 2 Warthogs out, and the purpose of that is that the second Warthog we launch out will actually not have that flag, or actually, the first hog that we launch out will not have that flag applied to it, so we can just get inside the driver's seat and just drive out of bounds without having to worry about getting sucked back in.
Now, this first launch, I'm honestly just gonna have to kind of wing it because we don't really get a checkpoint except right at the start. So I'm gonna line it up pretty specifically here, and I think Hark should just take it away here, to be honest.
Yeah, so he needs to park this Warthog in a decently precise spot, and then he's going to be throwing 4 plasma grenades, or 4 grenades in total, and then shooting a rocket, and that's going to launch the Warthog really, really far. It's very precise time, so hopefully Zero gets it here.
Oh, I don't have an SMG. Okay,
Is that fine?
okay, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I need 1 more plasma here, hopefully. And I also want to kill these guys. Okay, there we go. So this next one we do get a checkpoint for, luckily, so it's not as big of an issue. But I'm gonna have to line this hog up here. And this one is also pretty precise. Actually, I'd say a lot more precise, personally.
Luckily, we do get a checkpoint for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna delay it a little bit just so I can have it in the right position, and this is the right line, yes. Alright, got the checkpoint, so
now he's going to be doing the same thing, except this time he's actually going to be inside the Warthog, and he's going to hopefully land upright. So unfortunately, he didn't land all the way upright, and there's a death barrier right around there. So, and this launch is just barely powerful enough to send you over the death barrier line. So he got inside the back seat there.
Okay.
It's okay. This trick saves so much time that when Zero does get it, it'll more than likely still be saving time over not doing it.
Yeah, the old strats involved
weird.
driving along the entire highway, pushing the garbage truck, trying to make it go faster, like desperately trying to do something to make this mission end quicker. But now we save so much time with out of bounds.
It makes it so much cooler too, and I believe Zero was the one who found this, correct? It was
it was Zero did the most amount of work on it. I helped a little bit, as well as other people, including Burnt. He helped a little bit with
Dice as well.
Development and Dice. Yeah, it was a community effort to make this skip a reality.
Zero did put a ton of work into including initially proving that it was possible and finding the current method as well. So
yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Zero is parked a little bit too far forward, which is making the grenades not affect his Warthog as much as they should.
This is like incredibly precise where you place this hog. I hope that grunt doesn't screw something up. Oh, Buck just did a funny. So now I have to move it again because it looks like Buck just actually blocked the Warthog when it was in the air. Unfortunately. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's try it again.
Yeah, this is a very tough trick to get. The grenades, yeah, you have to throw are very
What? Oh,
precise,
come on.
and even though that was very close there, again, like there's a death barrier that the developers placed intentionally so that you couldn't do this. And they did a pretty good job of it. It's definitely a little bit frustrating to get over this death barrier.
And another thing, really quick, like this lineup I use is generally pretty consistent. But like we said earlier, like you can't really get one launch consistently just because of the way nades work. Come on, that was like right there. But yeah, even if you throw the exact same nades, the chances of you actually getting the very same launch is like actually really low, just because there's so many different like variables that have to do with how you get launched. So yeah, this one is probably easily the hardest trick in the game, at least in my opinion, as you can probably see here.
So yeah, even though he landed outside the death barrier there, the Warthog landed upside down, and when it lands upside down, it is 99% guaranteed to slide down into the death barrier. So it's pretty much mandatory that he lands upright, because if he doesn't land upright, then it's almost a guaranteed death.
I'm honestly thinking I might want to double revert because I'm not too sure.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, nice.
I'm kind of concerned about this hog because
You have
I
a brute
do have
shot
to
as well,
rock
that
it
should
up.
help.
Hopefully, yeah.
Phase 2.
Gotta think of how
I would
handle
back
this.
up a little bit and then double rocket. Okay,
Well, that
yeah.
kinda
So
helped.
he's getting it there. So let's hope. So he needs to get this warthog into a very specific spot, or not like super specific, but he needs to get it high enough out of the map.
Oh no.
Very unlucky.
So that when he gets inside the warthog, it doesn't suck him back into the barrier.
Yeah, generally you want to get a launch which puts it all the way at the top, but unfortunately, that's why I was kind of thinking I might want to double revert here.
Yeah, you could always
Not
double revert and go with a new setup.
Because this setup is, I think that's what I'm gonna do, because this setup just isn't that good. So
So I guess we
double
can
reverting.
explain double reverting.
Yeah.
So Bungie put in a system to where, like, if you die multiple times in a row, the game doesn't want you to get completely stuck on a bad checkpoint. So if you die 5 times within a short amount of time after a checkpoint has occurred, then the game will actually revert you 2 checkpoints backwards in order to prevent things like checkpoint soft locks, where like you're just dying over and over and over again. You can't do anything. They didn't want you to like have to restart the entire level to get past a situation like that. And turns out it's actually a little bit useful, but at other times for some tricks it's actually not so useful, because there's some tricks that we do where we die a lot and we have to accept that, and it can be a little bit frustrating whenever we do end up double reverting on one of those tricks. So it has its ups and downs for speedruns.
okay, that's what was supposed to happen the first time. You'll see that lands way out of bounds. That's exactly what I wanted first time. So this should hopefully be good.
I think I'm tearing up.
Let's see. Okay, that looks about right. I hope they don't really shoot me too much, because their plasma pistols can actually like knock the hog out of position, but looks fine. I do need to get the plasmas again though, which is RNG, and hopefully there have been instances where absolutely none of them have plasma grenades. Oh, there we go. Okay, good.
There we go. So
I was scared that was about to happen. 'Cause it's happened to Hark many times, and it's happened to pretty much anyone who does this trick, honestly, multiple times. Like, it really
so
sucks.
we looked into the game files, and we were able to see that a grunt has about a 1 out of 8 chance to drop one grenade, or any type of grenade. And right there, Zero's checkpoint was actually delayed a little bit because there was an enemy nearby, and checkpoints actually time out after 7 seconds. So if you hit a checkpoint trigger and that checkpoint doesn't activate after 7 seconds, then the game drops that checkpoint and won't allow you to get it. So it's a little bit. It's very lucky that Zero was able to get right there. He was actually kind of close to timing it out.
Ooh, come on.
Almost.
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of the same thing as earlier. Hopefully, if I get it though, we'll be good because that first hog is actually in the right spot. So don't have to worry about that again. And did you explain how there's also a height barrier as well, which locks you down? Like you actually get bounced down into the depth barrier.
It's the same it's the same barrier that we're breaking.
Come on. Can I save this? Probably not. Try
use
something.
Brute shot maybe. Brute shot does less damage.
That's not doing much.
Yeah, and it blows up.
Again, like Too Easy said, this is so much better than sitting behind a dump truck.
Yeah, it is. The alternative to this is literally holding W for 17 minutes. So
It's ridiculous.
okay.
Interesting.
But now with this, we're throwing grenades and holding W for on this one maybe 17 minutes. It's a little bit unfortunate,
okay,
but
that's weird. I don't know why it's landing in
the Warthog is not going in the right direction, unfortunately.
This is really weird. I think it might be an issue of my second plasma, but see, I don't know why that's happening. That's kind of weird. It is like, I mean,
it might have to do with
can't
the
really
fact that I have a breach shot instead of an SMG. Every single
it works usually with a breach shot.
Every weapon in the game has a different amount of time between so whenever you throw a grenade, you do like a full animation, and depending on the weapon you have, that animation can be either longer or shorter.
Perfect launch there.
Yeah.
Drives
so
out of the electric barrier.
We did it.
Unfortunately, that wasn't first try. But now we're out of bounds fully. So
Every try is a new first try.
that is true. So this hog is all the way over here. We don't have to rocket it or anything. So now we're gonna be headed this way, and I think Hart could explain everything going on here.
Yeah, so now every single section has like a door at the end, and each door has a mandatory trigger that we have to hit. And thankfully, these triggers extend out of bounds so that we're able to hit them, which is very important for this trick, because otherwise the trick wouldn't work if these triggers didn't extend to out of bounds. So we got very, very lucky.
So there's a total of 11 triggers that we have to hit, including that last one there. Some of them are really precise. A lot of them you can just drive through the middle, but overall this trick saves about 3 minutes, and I think it's safe to say that we're obviously still saving time here over full path, but it's still a really cool trick nonetheless.
There we go.
So this next one here is actually going to be very it's a lot more precise than the other ones. Like where I've been driving through the middle, I'm actually gonna have to hop out, and I think Hart could explain the difference.
Yeah, so even though that technically he could drive over the middle and still hit the same trigger, unfortunately it would teleport him back inbounds. There's basically like a safe volume that the game will allow you to hit these triggers in, and if you hit the trigger volume outside of the safe volume, then the game teleports you back inbounds inside this doorway because it thinks that you're unsafe. So yeah, on that one, he had to get out and he had to hit the trigger in a very specific spot where the safe volume overlapped with the trigger volume that he needed to hit. Long story short, he hit it in the right place that he needed to.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully there is actually one door I might show off the teleportation, because if I get a checkpoint right before it, then I'll show it, because it can really devastate a run, especially if you don't get a checkpoint. Generally after each of these doors though, you do get a checkpoint, so that's good.
Right there though, it looks like you didn't get one.
Yeah, I don't think so. Some of them you don't, but most of them you do. Oh, well, here we go. I would have shown it there, but that's probably a little too late, so we're just going to drive through the middle on this one, and then the next one is completely different from all the rest. Like the geometry is just entirely different. Technically you're lining up in the same spot as the precise one that we did earlier, but you'll be able to pretty quickly tell that it's entirely different. But right now we're just hitting these triggers, so you got time for a good amount of donations.
Alright, we got $35 from Krusty Krab saying, why do any percent if you can play all main missions? I hope all bonus game incentives get met. Let's get the most from this ESA winter. And this went towards the Neo any percent category change for all main missions later on. So, you know, if that's something you want to see, that's a donation you can get your money in for. And there's plenty more as well if you want to go browse the website for what the options are. You want me to keep going?
Actually, I'd like to explain this one really quick. So,
Alright, go on.
something I forgot to mention earlier is when I got out, you saw I did something like this at the third door. There's a load I have to hit here, which loads in the rest of the level, which is that text on the right side. And this door is just another one of the precise triggers. This one does kind of screw with me sometimes, so I'm hoping it won't. That's okay. We're good. The Warthog can slide down. Alright, looks like we're good. And then this next door is drastically different from the rest as well. I think, well, we have to drive on top of this big dome thing, basically, and I'm gonna try and power slide through it, so that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, you got time for some donations.
Alright, I'm then going to quickly mention again that we do have a bid war for the run coming up after this, and you know, we're coming close to the end of this one, meaning there's not much time left for you to donate. Corvo is still quite a bit ahead of Emily, so if you want to see Corvo, then, you know, maybe you don't need to do anything, maybe you should donate to get him further ahead. Or if you want to see Emily, then you definitely should get your donation in soon to make sure that she has a shot to be shown.
Alright. That's not the cleanest power slide, but sometimes you're able to, like, kind of dip down and it looks really cool when executed properly, but that's still a big time save, because I know some people like to take it extra safe where they decide to, like, I guess get out on top, just because you can kind of like just drive off the top, and that really sucks if it happens. This next one is another middle trigger, although I'm going to be hitting this one in the hog, so I don't actually have to get out for this one.
Shout to the skyboxes
We're not mid,
in this game.
Beautiful.
So right here, I'm going to be driving through just like that. And luckily, you can't actually teleport there if you do it wrong, but that one's pretty easy, so... Also got a checkpoint right
this
there,
one's very
nice.
lenient.
And there's only 2 more triggers left. Yeah, two more triggers left. One of them is middle, and then the next one is we're going to drop back in bounds and then finish the level. So, got time for some more.
Alright, I'm just gonna quickly then mention that if you do choose to donate, the money will go towards Alzheimerfonden. And if you're not familiar yet with what Alzheimerfonden is, they are the Swedish national fundraising organization focusing on Alzheimer's disease and other dementia-related diseases. Their aim and purpose is to increase fundraising to the benefit of scientific research in order to find a cure for Alzheimer's disease. You want me to keep going, or...?
Actually, yeah, so this one, there isn't actually a teleportation trigger, so you're able to just kind of drive around it. And you're able to fall back in. Luckily, kind of probably the one place where we're glad there's an elastic barrier, because if there wasn't that elastic barrier there when I fell down, there'd be a very high chance that I'd fall timer. But what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to park the hog into the wall, and I'm going to attempt to rocket the hog over, just like that. And this is kind of a new strat. You could do it before, but we didn't actually think about it until coastal out of bounds. It not only saves time by you driving the hog up, but in about 20 seconds when Dare teleports, it'll also save time there. But this is the final, this is the end fight, basically. So we have to wait for our AI allies to teleport here. And then there's just a few more things we're going to do. I think Hark might have something he wants to explain about Dare pushing, though.
Yeah, so the enemies only like come in once Dare reaches the top of these stairs. So what we're gonna attempt to do is we're gonna drive into Dare and
yikes. I was a little late to getting there. Okay, we should be good. That if you could actually block her path with the truck and it'll like just get her stuck and you lose another 20 seconds, but didn't really get to push her all that much here.
Didn't get to push her. unfortunately. But if you are able to get there on time, you can save about 6 to 10 seconds. Because Dare walks a little bit slow, so
By
just trying to
running
help her
into
out.
the truck.
Yeah, we didn't completely get rid of ramming Dare with the truck, so just no longer ram Dare's dump truck.
Alright, so so now he's just clearing out enemies, and like other missions, like he's on mostly a timer. Like it doesn't matter how fast he gets them, as long as he gets them within the limit of the timer.
wow,
And it
he's
looks
not
like,
the brute alive.
unfortunately, it looks like he might have lost time.
Just a few seconds,
There.
probably, though.
Yeah, it isn't too much, but. And now, this next
wave,
wave,
you have to be careful about.
yeah. On this next wave, if he kills the enemies too quickly, then it will cause the next Phantom's enemies to not be inside the Phantom, which is the vehicle that these guys are coming in on.
That looked pretty quick.
I'm gonna delay because that might have soft locked.
So we'll find out here in about 15 seconds if he soft locked. He's gonna be wanting a pair of hunters.
They're here.
Which is basically like the... Yeah, so hopefully
Yeah, we good, we good.
they jump out.
So you can actually delay checkpoints. I don't know if we ever explained that. But you can delay it by either jumping or meleeing.
Yeah. That should be everything. I'm just gonna keep delaying just in case. I want to be extra safe because there's almost like it's almost certain that I'd get a checkpoint here. I am good. Yeah, I should be good. I think since that Phantom came in though, so I think we're.
Yeah, it would only soft lock if the Phantoms didn't, or if the Phantom didn't leave.
One of the scary places of the game where going fast can actually be counterproductive.
And right now I'm just gonna kind of get ammo and whatnot for the actual final wave. There it is. So I guess that's extra confirmation that we didn't soft lock here. Actually wanted to get the fuel rod. That's not a big deal. Yeah, I could get it in time. I'm actually gonna clear from this side, I think, since I'm over here and I do have the fuel rod. So you can just you can fuel. Oh well, not now. Oh, come on. Okay, well you can backsmack the chieftain, or fuel rod
A
him.
warrior.
Yep.
That backsmack mechanic.
Unfortunately, because I was a little late to killing that clear, a lot of the enemies didn't get out. Ideally, you kill one of the waves pretty much on spawn, but a lot of them are
every
probably
single
hiding right up
enemy
here.
has to be dead for our friendly Phantom to spawn, which is what we need in order to end the game. So.
Kobe!
There's like two.
So
guys over
there's a couple more brutes that Zero has to clear out.
So I will say that chieftain had a hammer, and you can actually, just like Halo 3, you can do hammer launches the same way in ODST. It just works out to where it doesn't save any time during the run, but if you ever want to mess around, like it is a lot of fun, hammer launching up different crates.
Okay,
Do we have time for a box launch, Zero?
I think so, yeah. We got about 40
Let's go.
seconds, so... Where's the hammer? It's like over here, right? It could have despawned,
Yeah.
I hope not. Did it despawn? Wait, where was it?
Probably, yeah. I don't
Yeah, it
think
looks
it's
like it
anymore.
despawned.
Well,
Unfortunate.
and that's the run, basically.
Yep. Coming up on time here. Might actually have lost time looking for the hammer. Really quickly, I'd like to give a shout out to HaloRuns.com. If you're interested in running Halo, whether any of the Halo games, like the FPS games, you can go to HaloRuns.com. You have a Discord, a lot of helpful
And
people.
that's time.
Sorry. You just, if you want to learn the game, or this game, or any of the Halo games, you know, go to HaloRuns.com for all your Halo speedrunning needs.
Ton of great resources.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the run. Unfortunately, Coastal, I lost about like 9 minutes, but still, I think overall not a bad run. So
Great run, dude. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was awesome. Well done. We got a couple more donations before I can let you go off here, and we got $50 from Jay Kramer. There's no message for this, but it is going towards Emily in the Dishonored 2 bid war, which does put Emily ahead. And we also got $5 from Zoneri saying, "Hey guys, chat included. As an uneducated Halo person, what's the best Halo game?" And then we
ODST.
also got $5 from Pikastroph saying, "Don't have much money to donate, but it's a great cause." I'm too lazy to think of something smart to say here, so hey, I'm just gonna say, come on, let's reach 20k. Hype! So yeah, with that, we do have Emily in the lead for the Dishonored 2 run, so you have until the end of our upcoming intermission if you do want to still see Corvo being run. Is there anything you guys have to say before we go to intermission?
Nope, just go to haloruns.com.
Thank you, ESA. Good luck to the rest of the runs.
And
There you
thank
go.
you for all the donators for supporting the great cause. GG's.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And with that, we will be taking a quick break before we go to Demonic Robots and Dishonored 2. So now is a great time for you to get up a stretch and stay hydrated. I will also be passing off the reading torch to Nico Hart, which will look after you so well, and I will be back later on in the week. Take care, everyone.